Can Manchester
Okay, so welcome back to podcast with Neil. Sorry for the mic mute, and we're back again after that horrendous video that I did. And tonight we're going to talk about Everton versus Manchester United, Carabao Cup semi-final and a quarter-final. What am I drinking? Carabao Cup quarter-final, and it's a hell of a match. Now, trust me when I say this that today's fixture, many of you might say that we are in a good spot in the Premier League and we should actually forego this competition as a whole. But you never cease to decline any chances to win a trophy, do you? As a Man United player, as a Man United coaching staff or the management, you never do that, do you? Absolutely shambles, if I may say, if you forego this entirely. But Everton in a quarter final and on a road to Wembley, it's too much to ask. It's too much to let down. Now, if I just start with the pre-match presentation, let me get it up on screen right now. Just a sec. Now, if you can see that we are actually here where Rashford and Richarlison, the two most attack-minded players, and that is amazing considering how beautiful this tie has been set up. Is just mesmeric in ways that it is unexplainable at times. Let's just see if we have any potential visitors, because if you do want to join in the podcast, just head over to the chat section, just DM there and I'll send you a link and you'll be on the live podcast. Come on in here, we want to talk tonight because it's it's basically a very good match. So I'm not doing watch alongs as of now. I have plans for that in future. So before that, let me just post celebrate how well we defeated Leeds and how what an amazing fixture it was. Marcelo Bielsa this, Marcelo Bielsa that. I'm not going into that controversy. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I'm not disrespecting him by any way. He's a pioneer of modern coaching greats, but at the same time, the too much hero worshipping that was going on, being a United fan and screaming out loud that their Leeds scum, and you're going on praising a coach who just conceded 6 goals. Put yourself as Marcelo Bielsa and coach United. You just conceded 6 goals in trying to attack, or even Brazil conceding 7 goals in trying to attack. Were any one of them lauded? Were even Sir Alex Ferguson had a few. Even Arsene Wenger was bombarded when he conceded 8, and that Arsenal side was tiki taka at their best with Robin van Persie, Samir Nasri, and a lot of those people. That was brilliant Arsenal side that conceded 8 goals to United. And at the same time, you do not just go over there and you cannot say that you conceded more than 5 goals because you were just attacking. And I'm surprised that the English press has not made up this comment at how, and even the hero worshipping still continues till date. I have a lot of fellow United supporters who are the pro BLs. I think I understand that the coaching thing is a pioneer, as I said, he's a pioneer, he's a modern great of coaching, but at the same point of time, you gotta stop it, man. You've gotta stop it. Too much, too much. Everything has a limit. In this day, everything has a limit. And I'm surprised by the English press. Like, they can go on for Greenwood having a, a chuckle here and there. They can completely forego Phil Foden, who did the same thing. But it's Greenwood. But it's Man United. But it's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. All three things tie up to the same foreground. It's Man United. You just The English media cannot just praise Man United. And this Carabao Cup semi-final, quarter-final, quarter-final, my bad. This Carabao Cup quarter-final is immense considering all the minute notions that are in play at this moment of time. Okay, Jivogda, thanks for joining in. Remember Sav saying we should have made sure we didn't concede more after the fourth, after the one humping, not thumping by City. Definitely, I cannot just make sense of this entire jizz fest that has been going on. that for the first time in the history of the game that I have ever heard a coach being praised. Let him be praised for his tactics, for his development. That is an entire different thing. But being praised just because they were attacking after a 6-1 defeat, 6-2 defeat, is hilarious. Trust me, it's hilarious. Like, it's more hilarious than Arsenal fan TV. Troops, don't break your phone right now. I don't have insurance to cover that. I'm thirsty right now. Now, moreover, the talk with Bielsa. Let's come back. Let's come back to the game. Either way, yes. Either way, Carlo is a bigger test than Bielsa any day. Yes, Carlo Ancelotti's pedigree is unquestionable. If you ask tactically, he has been astounding, winning over his florets in all over Europe, Italy, in in Spain, in Germany, even the English Premier League, where he's back as coaching as Everton. And Everton have a lot of decent players, if you ask me. You can see Richarlison on the screen, but other than that, the ones like Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who just has been reinvented after Carlo came in. Richarlison playing off that support striking role in a basically in a 4-4-2, what Carlo prefers. At the same point of time, this is a tricky fixture. And there are two sides to this. The same United fans that are saying you should actually forego it, considering we have a difficult fixture against Leicester in the weekend at the Boxing Day. But if you lose this, the same United fans will come after Ole's head again and again and again. Give that man some bloody breathing space, for heaven's sake. You just cannot do this. Come on, if you decide what you want to do, but you want to get him sacked at any cost, so you want him to lose matches. Yes, there are United fans like that. Touch wood, there are United fans like that. They know whom when they're watching, they know whom I'm talking about. But at the same point of time, this is nuts. This is completely nuts. Okay, if I dive into the tactical part a bit, this is United's shape. I'm just highlighting it. This is United's shape. If I want to see, okay, we have a potential. Just a sec. Just a sec. No, some more hate speech. Okay, so let me just remove the banner. See, you can see this was the positioning against the West Ham game where United, this is basically United's formation without Bruno. Expecting Bruno to be dropped tonight for obviously resting purposes. I know he was taken off and United don't take without Bruno, but it's a risk to be taken starting him from the first, and how physical Everton are we all know how the physical aspect of any Carlo Ancelotti side. They're murderous, if I may say. So this is United's basic shape. They're cramped up in midfield, forcing the play, the triangles, the channels all over the left-hand part. And if you see, when Bruno Fernandes actually came in that match and changed the game, Pogba scored a brilliant goal. United, even though they were left, they were more spread out. Check the difference in width. Check the difference in how the actual team shifted up a gear. Where Declan Rice was running a Rolls Royce of a game, he was completely nullified. Because he was caught up in doing two jobs, like had to be the defensive, the deep lying playmaker, as well as counter Bruno. Now, Van de Beek had his critics. He had a fantastic match against Leipzig, the one which we thrashed them 5-0, and unsuccessfully. He could not do the same on the most important match. That United have that in them to be perennial chokers. In big matches, United have that in them to be perennial chokers. By the way, if you're watching this for the first time, do leave a subscribe and a like and help me on the road to 200 as soon as possible. I had a target by 25th to get to 200 subs. So that a sub would be amazing, and all of your support, it's got me in around 188 subscribers in the last 10 days or so, and keep that continuing. Support your local guys, come on. So if I go back to this, see, if you play Juan Mata at the right side of midfield, he drifts in. You see Fernandes, they form a this quartet, or these four players are too much, and people go and blame Wan-Bissaka that he's no good. He was a winger. He's a decent dribbler. He knows how to cross, but he cannot. Here's why. See both the images, how left-sided United are. This Greenwood position is actually, see, Greenwood is basically a striker. he does not. The difference between a Jadon Sancho and a Greenwood, maybe equally talented, maybe Greenwood even more talented considering his age and the experience and the difference in golfing class about the Premier League and the Bundesliga. Greenwood cannot use a fullback. His movements are, when he's out wide, isolated, is always to back pass. Or else, if he takes on his man at the same point of time, he will definitely try to go in and look for a shot. His unpredictability has become too much of a predicament, and defenders are getting and goalkeepers are covering those places. So second half, when United actually attack, you see Greenwood up there in the central striking position, which should be his ideal starting spot. Now, Wan-Bissaka, when he gets up to the pitch, when he gets up to the other end of the pitch, he's considered this: the left back, the left winger, the covering midfielder, and the left-sided centre back. Four people are covering his cross spaces, his back pass options. So either he has to get a corner or he has to dribble. He's not Lionel Messi, and you can't expect Wan-Bissaka to dribble past four people in that much of a tight space. So whereas if you place a winger there who can actually exploit Wan-Bissaka's overlapping, because he does that non-stop, up and down non-stop. Give him that credit. So suppose even if you put a Diego Dalot in there, no one would be able to cross, considering United don't have a right winger. Even when Daniel James was playing, Daniel James, even though he had a good performance versus Leeds, he's a very, very unintelligent player. For the lack of a better word, he's a very unintelligent player. He does not know when to let go of the ball. He just aims to be Beta Coutinho and get in shots. That works. But when in one-on-one situations, I see plenty of selfishness between Greenwood, Rashford. Like Martial passes to Rashford and vice versa. But Greenwood and Rashford, it has been highlighted numerous times that they do not pass to each other. So, okay, the lineups should be here in any moment. I'll highlight the lineup as soon as I get it. But till then, bear with me on this. The transfer of Amad Diallo is what gets me excited, because he's a proper winger. He's a proper winger, and all inverted wingers actually do not come inside. If they aren't a playmaker, they do not come inside. Remember the Arjen Robbins. Remember the Arjen Robben. Remember Lionel Messi when he was playing out wide. Remember your Mohamed Salahs. They all start out in a wide position. Then they drift in, making space for the fullback. That's how you provide overloads. That's how Tottenham does it very well with Bergwijn, although he's an out-and-out orthodox winger. Let me see just if the lineup has been injected. Should be there. Still not arrived. If anyone has the lineup, please do comment. Okay, Jibogda, you're the only one. Think AVB could be a good fullback from 2005. These days you have got wingers converted into fullbacks because you have to have pinpoint crosses in them. Absolutely, I agree with you. But just let me get the match lineups. Still no lineups. Come on. Come on, Google. Come on, Google. Okay, I'll wait for the lineups. But till then, yeah, I understand. Gary Neville was a decent footballer. He was decent on crosses. But what made him successful is that at that point of time when teams were playing 4-4-2 with orthodox wingers out wide, proper wide midfielders, not wingers. Now we classify that point of time, wingers were more of wide midfielders bombing crosses into the box. Now with what we associate with wingers is they cut in and make shots, and they are treated as forwards, inside forwards. Rashford is an inside forward. Heung-min Son is an excellent example of an inside forward. Lineups out on Twitter. Okay, let me see. Okay, just let me. I'm just waiting for the Everton lineup as well, because okay, Scott McTominay starts. That's okay. Donny van de Beek. It's as soon as I get the picture, I'll show you if I can save this. Window actually starts. Okay, share screen, application window, and voila. So here's your lineup. So you can see Dean Henderson finally gets a game. Okay, Eric Bailly. I predicted actually Tuanzebe would start, but Eric Bailly, Maguire, Pogba, Cavani, Greenwood, Fernandes, Alex Telles, Matic, Van de Beek, Tuanzebe. So okay, we are going for a 3 at the, oh no, okay, your Tuanzebe is playing as a right back. So okay, let me pull up the match board if I can. This is your lineup. Just if let me pull up the match board. Okay, so with regards to the lineup, we have Dean Henderson. Okay, we have Bai in this. Just let me edit. Okay, we have Bai over here with Maguire. I expected Brandon Williams to get a match. Why Fernandez? Let him rest a bit. Okay, Mata didn't get a game, and who else starts? Matic, Van de Beek, Alex Telles, Bruno. Okay, Mata for Bruno. Okay, this is the probable lineup. Probably Pogba will play through the right because Van de Beek is better off the left. Either way. So if I just come over here and tell you that this is going to be our lineup, so this is much more or less this is our lineup. Bruno will again play the false nine, and what worries me about this midfield is that we know Everton how high they press, because any Carlo Ancelotti side would press. Greenwood often gets isolated on the wide and Cavani gets in up front. Now United can say they can play Paul Pogba as a left midfielder. That remains Matic and Van de Beek with this formation, the 4-2-3-1. This is how United have actually lined up with attacking midfielders, and Greenwood often coming in and around popping over there. But what scares me is because Cavani will be more over here, Greenwood here, Pogba loiters around here, Matic will be, if I just move Alex Telles up a bit, Maguire here, Matic would be here, or let us just put Matic in between the defenders. Bai would be here. So Van de Beek is around here, Pogba will be here. What problem is that this exact space is what worries me. You have your this triangle, if I may highlight. What is happening? Okay, even if this triangle, if I may highlight, this is too narrow. This is way too much narrow. For any attack, if you want to see that, this is way too much narrow. So Alex Telles is here. He will provide those crosses for Cavani. And what Everton have been doing pretty well, if I can get that Everton lineup. Still, Google, come on, Google, don't fail me. So what Everton do excellently is Yerry Mina has been on the air. He's been excellent on both boxes. Now, if you at the same point of time have Godfrey, okay, Gbogda's comments I did not get. Everton, Olsen, Coleman, Godfrey, Keane, Mina, Dokore, Gomez, Gilfie, Obi, Richarlison, DCL. 4-2-3-1, more of a 4-4-2, if I may say, because they often line up in that shape. That Godfrey is fast and good on the air. Your Yerry Mina, Michael Keane, all good in the air on either boxes. And that is an area we do struggle. That is an area we cannot keep in tandem with. At any point of time, defensive set pieces is what has cost us goals. And even though how vocal Dean Henderson is, even how we want Eric Bailly to do well at United, with or without his injury proneness, at the same point of time, he is error prone. He is error prone. You don't know, this United's entire side is error prone. And that's what I was afraid about, that there is a chance that United will get run over in midfield. There are high chances United will get run over in midfield. Probably they'll want Richarlison want to drop in midfield. That's why that 4-2-3-1 could be a 4-4-2. Yeah, they alternate between that. Okay, if you're watching for the first time, do leave a subscribe, a like, and ring the notification bell and support your local lads. Come on, bring me to 200 as soon as possible. So going back, you see Alex Telles going up here. He would, and Van de Beek in that space. You see Matic covering that. But what about this space? What the long balls out wide to Richarlison? Yeah, he's fast. He cover that happens again because Tuanzebe is not a natural fullback. He will get dragged in. He will get 7 out of 10 times he will get dragged in. that will cause an overload in our box, and that causes chaos because we cannot deal with players. And this area is what defeated us against Leipzig, that Carlo Ancelotti would watch, because any side that Paul Pogba plays, you want two covers with him, and that is not possible having Paul Pogba and Bruno Fernandes with them. Now Carlo is a smart old bloke. He would know not to play up a high line, because I remember Tim Sherwood being said in the Sheffield match that whenever there is no pressure on the ball by the opposition, you do not push up as a unit. Remember the Rashford goal that Lindelof played. Sheffield defense was pushing up, at the same pushing up, and at the same point of time, that channel ball came in from Lindelof, and bam. That's those are, if there's no pressure on the ball on the opposite end, if the defender has to pick out a pass, and Lindelof and Premier League players are good on the ball, and they will drop those balls. And the pace with Rashford, Martial, Greenwood, the pace that they go in, and the finishing that they have, Martial excluded, he's a decent lad, but you cannot just go through that, right? Let me see if I can get a guest. Jibogda is probably cooking right now. So how's your cooking, Jibogda? Tell us. I wanted you on a podcast. This offer still available if you're done with your cooking and the chimney does not interrupt us at the same point of time. Let me see if I can get some guests. Everybody's taking a boring. Come on, join us, na. Would be fun to have you on. Chopping veggies, I hate this part. You cannot just say that to a hotel management guy who has his expertise on that part. Damn sickening, come on. I'll get to the tactical analysis in a bit. Just bear with me. सबका एग्जाम है सिर्फ मेरा ही नहीं है. Some other day you have food and booze at hand. Now you're just tempting me. Since lockdown, it's very dry in here. It's just tempting. Oh God. I just want someone to talk with, because talking it all alone, it's very dampening with just one viewer. No offense. You're the one who's still supporting me. Everybody else is asleep. Everybody else is asleep. Very bad crowd. Okay, if you're tuning in for the first time, do drop a like and a subscribe. And if you want to come online, check the chat section. I'll just pin that comment. I cannot pin that comment. Okay, I'll have to go here probably. Okay, I've pinned that message. So if you want to come online, do drop your names down and I'll send you a link. And that would be amazing. Prawn Sandwich Brigade. Oh my God. No more prawn sandwich for me. Get in the comment section, guys. The Everton lineups are still... Google has gone asleep. With everyone else, Google has gone asleep. No one wants to come online. Come on. Everybody's busy at this point of time. Come on, it's a quarter final and no one's excited. Yeah, the timing's a bitch. I know that. Timing's a bitch. But you still, this is a quarter final. This is a cup quarter final. Mickey Mouse Cup or whatever it is. We haven't got silverware since the Europa League. It's dampening to see. It's very dampening to see. You want to aim for the Champions Leagues and you start this way. You start this way. Very poor turnout. Like I've been texting 2 or 3 people and no replies. Okay, we'll do this alone. Life is alone. So if I move away from this and if I show you where United actually have problems, if I open this and show you, see, this is a screenshot from last year's match against Everton, and you play a similar side today, barring Fred and McTominay. You want what United came up with a 1-1 draw with that Bruno Fernandes strike. You don't expect McTominay or Fred to be up here, United dominating that much. This is the hole where United want to play. See, Greenwood out wide and Wan-Bissaka doing underlaps, which has been the opposite this season, where Wan-Bissaka has been over. Last year, we saw a lot of underlapping runs by fullbacks, but United have opted with overlapping fullbacks and the classic way with what Ole has been pointing out. You see, Everton will defend deep. Out of your picture is Lindelof. So if I just can get the banner. So you can see how deep, if these balls will again prove a challenge, because you look at Matic, he does not have a passing option than Bruno. This space is entirely occupied by Everton blockades. Everyone zonal, nothing, not chasing their man. Even he is marked. This is a very well drilled side. This is an extremely well drilled side. Now, if I just channel over to the this is Bruno Fernandes. And why am I highlighting this? Because United are not at full strength at this point of time, and I'm just wanting to highlight how deep blocks United face. I could not find a better image where it was portrayed that whenever United are attacking, there are just 2 options, either Martial or Dan James or whoever plays out wide. And that's an issue because you don't have James and Greenwood. You expect him to be around here at this pace, and you expect 2 or 3 men to be blocking at any point of time you expect them to be blocking. But Bruno has to drop these balls in deep, or he has to play those passes. Even Martial is not starting. We expect Cavani to be that box striker. But at the same point of time, these balls will be very difficult because Everton, even though they push up a lot high, they are not scared of pace because they have fast midfielders, fast defenders. And Alan is Dokure. A lot of Dokure is probably injured. Okay, Shreyan is here. Hi, Shreyan. Give me a shout out. Big game today predictions. Okay, so finally someone says that a Mickey Mouse Cup is a big game. I'm proud of you. Predictions, I'll just stick to the end of the show. I'll bring in the prediction section at around 15 minutes before the match. Then I'll go for a fact break and then I'll come back with snacks. So just let me just complete this, what I was talking about. So you can expect Martial, not there today, Cavani to be going in through these channels, and Bruno would be extremely important. Now, Van de Beek, Bruno, and Pogba. United are trying to line up an extremely attack minded, but they would be pushed back because the lack of that natural ball winner in the team. Matic these days is not more of a deep lying playmaker or deep lying passer than of a ball snatcher or a ball winner. Your Freds, your McTominay, your Van de Beek is not going to win you balls. Pogba, the less I say about him is the better. Bruno, if Bruno comes back and wins you balls, it's Everton's game. And now that worries me. This same thing that happened with Leipzig, that we did not have any ball winners. The lack of Fred was very much evident. Van de Beek will give you that space, give you that passing option that if United can dominate this game, this team is ready-made. But United are not there yet. Very honestly, United are not there yet. Van de Beek will give you space over here. Pogba will give you space over here. Bruno will be in and around. Matic will be isolated. And if you put two midfielders pressing Matic, he back passes, and the whole pressure comes visiting back. The whole pressure comes towards United, and they get boxed in. This is a recurring trend that has been happening. This is a recurring trend that has been happening for quite a while. Now it's amazing that how United don't see that, and I understand how Fred and McTominay both have been rested, but you need that one ball winner in your side. And seeing today's lineup and seeing Everton's lineup, Everton has a lot of ball winners over there. United have zero. So if United can play that tiki-taka thing, United will destroy any opponent because they have the firepower up front, they have the midfield maestros. But the team, don't you think the team looks awfully imbalanced? Van de Beek is attack-minded, plays box to box, but he's attack-minded. He will put in those challenges, but he's not a ball winner. And if you isolate Matic, it's danger. It's very much danger. Pogba will do his shenanigans and on the pitch and whatever. But where's the natural playmaker in your side? Now, talking about how Fred and McTominay have been so much pivotal. Okay, remember the first goal from Sheffield last week? Expect more of those today. No, United actually, that Sheffield one was more of a mistake. Come on, cut some slack. That was but United, I commend Ole because all the good teams, in spite of that pressure, play out from. You see the Bayern Munich's, you see the Barcelona against Bayern Munich, they considered that. But you see prime Barcelona's, and you see very much Real Madrid's, Dortmund playing out from the back. Just a sec. Now you see the importance of Fred McTominay. It's wonderful. These guys have been slammed left, right, and center by pundits, by people who have been employed by Sky Sports, by our own former players, that Fred and McTominay aren't the way forward. But the forward run that McTominay took was decisive. You remember when Paul Pogba, tell me the last time that Paul Pogba made that run. And if McTominay doesn't make that overload, there aren't two goals. And we couldn't have won that match in that magnanimous. That amazing start actually made Leeds come front more, and that played right into United's hands. That all of those tactics were spot on. Actually, all of those fell into that puzzle. Now, this duo is so much influential. Like, if you trust me, Solskjaer is not a noob. He makes errors. Tell me from your heart, which manager doesn't make errors? Which manager doesn't make errors? Okay, point is, when we lose our head, when we get pressed high up by our opponents, and Dino isn't press proof yet. With Bailly and Maguire, there's a chance. With any defender, there's a chance of that, because you need that. I want to hear your thoughts, all of your thoughts on this. Like, I was hearing a Pogba and a Varane swap. Like, it does for both, basically. Real Madrid, Pogba and Varane both have their contracts expiring in 2022. Both of them are 27 years old at their prime. Pogba slots right into Real Madrid's midfield. Varane slots right into defense. Two marquee franchise players that both clubs have been wanting. And for the same price tag, same pedigree, would you take that? Would you take a Paul Pogba? Even Varane has his ups and downs. I would. Would you take that? Would you take Paul Pogba and Rafael Varane as a swap deal? Definitely, because Maguire and you put pace beside Maguire and a calm head. Maguire is a brilliant defender. You just need space. And Lindelof, even though his ball playing antics are very good, he lacks that final pace to get on with the defender. So I remember Leeds where they missed a chance. Lindelof let go of his man. And okay, so whoever has watched would come join in. Welcome to the show. I cannot actually see your name until you actually comment. So subscribe would be amazing, and do help me reach 200 subs. It was a plan till 25th that I would complete these 200 subs, and without your help, it would mean a lot. It would mean a lot. Real offloading Varane. There's a chance because Fabrizio Romano on his podcast was saying that it is very difficult for Pogba to go back to Juve because of the wage constrictions, because Juve have to offload like 3 or 4 players that no one wants. But in Real Madrid, there is that wage budget that somehow they have Eder Militao on their ranks. They have a very good defender coming up from their youth academy as well. And Ramos is not here to go soon. He'll play almost 2 3 years. Now, you do not bench Eder Militao any further. He has been there for 2 seasons or so, and he has matured into excellent defender. I was watching him for Brazil, and he has been nonchalant. He is like the Lingard, and we cannot get him at this moment of time. So, this makes sense for both parties. Now, Varane would cost in the similar range that what we would want for Paul Pogba. Varane slots right into the rim beside Maguire, and suddenly this United defense would look good. Varane, I know he gets caught here and there, but he's still a brilliant footballer. He still plays for France. Now, suppose we get we get Rafael Varane. Now, David Alaba would be, in my opinion, a replacement for Nemanja Matic, because he publicly stated, not publicly, it's common knowledge, that he would go to a club where he would be able to play his preferred position that he plays on the national team. That is of a defensive midfielder or a deep lying playmaker that both Thiago and Joshua Kimmich have been playing for Bayern Munich, respectively, in either seasons. Now, I would definitely have David Alaba beside a Van de Beek. David Alaba gives you more space, gives you set pieces, gives you aerial ability, gives you passes from deep, and he's just 30 and he's still got legs in him. Matic and Mata, okay, senior players that needed at the squad, but since Bruno has arrived, Rashford, the likes of Rashford, there's Cavani, there's Van de Beek, there's Maguire, Alex Telles, all these players have been keeping up later. Dino has been amazing. And whoever has just tuned in, a subscribe would be amazing. Please help me to the road to 200, and I'll make it worthwhile, because this is your local guy, and do support your local talent. And all the shenanigans aside, yes, I don't think Real Madrid are offloading Varane, but I don't see sense in that Dybala Pogba swap again, because Dybala is that again Alex's mistake that I don't want to make. But if you get a Varane for free, you don't need to go for Upamecano, because a natural progression for Axel Tuanzebe and then Ted and Mengi, both of them are there, and the injury was that the baggage that Upamecano brings is a high risk, because this is the Premier League. This is the Premier League, and Varane is tall. He would get on those boxes. He would score those headers. That would be a brilliant deal. So if I was saying that your defense is Maguire and Varane, your midfield is, let go of Paul Pogba. It's David Alaba and Scott McTominay, but Alaba gets the license to play make from deep, and he's a very good passer, both long and short. If Fernandes is up there scheming on the number 10s, your Amad Diallo, and what's amazing about this deal is that we get 2 players for free, one being David Alaba and one being Rafael Varane, 2 world-class players, and we can actually allocate most of our transfer budget into Jadon Sancho. We can even move on Daniel James and bring in Sancho, because Ahmad will be there, a much needed left-footed right winger. But the Jadon Sancho, Anthony Martial, people have slandered Anthony Martial, but trust me, you give him one proper right winger, he'll come into scoring again. People have missed a lot of chances. Van Persie, our top scorer, went in that same season that he went around 11 games without a goal. Now, Martial is not at the level of Van Persie, but he's not that bad. Come on. This is United. This is the Premier League. We have the curse of the goalkeepers. Any other team, I remember Pep Guardiola's Sterling coming into action, when Sterling misses buttload of chances. You put this Martial in a Man City team, he would score bucket loads. Trust me, he would score bucket loads. Okay, I'd still take Skriniar, Jimenez ahead of a Varane, but Varane is an upgrade of all of our centre backs put together. Definitely, even I heard Derby County actually wanting Wayne Rooney to the rest for Phil Jones. So Wayne Rooney to the rescue. Thanks was again. But Jivak, the screener would cost around 50 million because Inter won't let him go. He had a contract till 2024, if I'm not wrong. Jimenez, Jose Maria Jimenez, I'm sure you're talking about the Atletico one. He's again a Lindelof type. He's good in the air, but he's again a Lindelof type. Yeah, Debayan, thanks for joining in. I know this is a reach, but why not a right wing for Paul Pogba? Putting pressure on the Spanish giants to fulfill his, yes, that isn't possible without on and off Vasquez. In no way does Rodrigo leave. Views? Real Madrid won't let go of Rodrigo. It's their prime right winger right now. Lucas Vasquez is like Jesse Lingard made in Spain. No more baggage. They rather have Jesse Lingard fulfill that quota because Brexit is coming up soon. Don't forget that Brexit is coming up soon. So these deals will be more complicated. That's why keeping a Jesse Lingard makes more sense. That's why United have been after Johnny Evans. That keeps in with the quota. Because if you move on Phil Jones, if you move on Paul Pogba, you need another player who's from your academy. I know that, or you have to promote one. If you promote Hannibal Mejbri, then there's no need for a midfield. Actually, United have a lot of midfield options, and the potential signing of David Alaba as a central defensive midfielder makes a lot of sense because free agent deals would be that much complicated even if we do him on a pre-contract. But without that, Devayan, I think Rodrigo doesn't leave. Real Madrid, and I don't think realistically, if Dortmund accept, because I don't think any transfer amount would be involved in a Paul Pogba deal. Right winger from Real Madrid, there's only Rodrigo, who's not a specialist, who is a left winger and a number 10, because in his Brazil days, in his Sao Paulo days, he was more of a number 10. He's shoehorned in at the right, and come on, it's La Liga. You get spaces over there. Lucas Vasquez used to play good over there. You drop in a Jesse Lingard, he would bring man of the matches award at every alternate game. It's La Liga. Rodrigo has been brilliant in the Champions League. But again, these big games, all big teams, you want those, not you don't want that, but the spaces will be there because very rare in Champions League matches you have seen teams sit back and defend. United tried that, but couldn't. We agreed that Lindelof and Jimenez are similar players, but Jimenez is super intelligent, great passer, and a solid aerial presence. He does exactly what Maguire needs. Maguire needs calmness beside him, Jivakta, what I feel. And Jimenez is what we call in Bengali Basha Pakka Shurer Bacha, because Radamel Falcao was saying, or Diego Costa was saying, don't remember the name, like he was going into the year and said, my cat had a heart attack or something like that. My cat didn't eat breakfast. And he was like, what the hell are you blabbering about? Come on. So this is entirely a perspective issue. This is entirely, I would have Varane, it would be immense if we went and got either of a Skriniar or a Jimenez. Those are two brilliant players, young players. But a Varane makes much more sense considering he's going to Real Madrid. Or if we can either get Demiral or a De Ligt. De Ligt would be too much expensive. But Juventus, they won't offload Cristiano. They cannot offload Cristiano and Dybala at the same conjuncture. They'll offload Dybala and hand that number 10 jersey back to Pogba. That's the logical thing because they play a diamond these days. And the only player who has more wages in that squad is either Aaron Ramsey, who United aren't interested in, Adrian Rabiot, again a troublemaker, but a De Ligt, they won't let him go. But Demiral, if you want a Demiral, I would definitely take a Demiral. He's a beast of a defender. But would that justify Paul Pogba's price tag? So it makes more sense. The more I talk about it, it makes more sense about a Paul Pogba and Rafael Varane swap. It's been doing the rounds, and Varane is something that Ed Woodward has set his sights on for the last 5-6 years. And it was a franchise, it was a marquee signing. And you need to replace Paul Pogba with a marquee signing, like the Ashley Cole and a William Gallas transfer. Like that was in 2005, probably, where Gallas went from Chelsea and wore the number 10 for Arsenal. Like everything with Arsenal is a comedy. Like you don't have a defender that wears a 10. Falcao, that was Jimenez was asking you the flags, so we could go. This deserves a super like. Falcao was so confused we missed a couple of free errors. You don't go and do that with Jamie Vardy. He'll punch you in the face. Delete is a bit of erratic for some reason. Demirel is a squad player, isn't a player you would have in a squad to challenge for Liverpool, right? Definitely. So that Varane makes a lot of sense much more because in this pandemic induced, I don't know if UK will go into lockdown again, and I hope they're safe at this point of time. I don't, I still feel that Varane and it makes sense a lot, and I still feel that David Alaba might just be tempted if we finish in the top four and win a trophy. And this team is going in the right direction, and you want to play with younger players in front of you. There's Marcus Rashford coming onto his best prime years. Greenwood is there. Amad Diallo is coming. It's been so much exciting. Amad Diallo is due on 1st of January for his final medicals. And the thoughts, nobody has asked me this question that Jan Bissouma, nobody has watched him, Jan Bissouma, but the Caicedo guy who's coming in is more of a ball winner. And that clear strategy of Ole that underlies this statement that he wants fast players, that he wants the team to work hard. This Caicedo guy runs like a mad. Now imagine him and Scott McTominay in midfield, or Fred, or that rotating option. Because if you play that kind of a football that Pep Guardiola plays, that constant pressing, you need squad options and you need players of the same caliber, of the same mindset that will go and win you balls. If you want to play Bruno Fernandes in every match, you play two ball winners around him with two decent passers. Scott McTominay is a decent passer and a decent dribbler of the ball. I would tactically go for Jan Bissouma, but Caicedo guy at 5 million, 19-year-old makes a lot of sense. That Jan Bissouma is more of a showcase one. Camavinga is still too young for the Premier League, but I'd still say a Jan Bissouma, and as well as both would be fantastic. Both, I think Jan Bissouma would cost around 25 to 30 million. Caicedo guys for 5 million. We have not Puigmal. We have Hannibal Mejbri. Puigmal is a Bruno type of a player. And if we move on Mata, if we move on Matic, that saves the wage budget. I think those two are there at their last seasons at this moment of time. And suddenly, United's average age goes down again. And you have this immense group of youngsters that are hungry, that are playing for the first time in the Premier League. That hunger, Ole is looking for those players with that hunger. And Paul Pogba seriously lacks a lot of it. Partly because of his agent. I don't know what to comment more on that. But it's there. It's not that Paul Pogba is a bad player. We know the talent is there, but he makes such stupid decisions on field that are punished. Like I was watching this interview that Frank Lampard made when Jose Mourinho was our coach. And he said that if you liken Paul Pogba to Frank Lampard because of their position, Frank himself said that Paul was a far superior talented player than Frank ever was. But what enraged him is that he makes some silly mistakes in midfield. Like there's no reason dribbling in your own half and losing the ball. Who does that? Why would you even do that? That's the question that a lot of people needs to be asking Paul Pogba wherever he goes. Like in Spain, in Italy, Frank even said that none of us watched that much of Italian football, and there are spaces. You play a Southampton against your Napoli's. Southampton might lose, but it would take immense effort of Napoli to break that down. But I think he wants to join Madrid. And why are we looking at NDD? Hannibal is more attacking, won't do the defensive work. Garner might. Garner is a deep line, more of a Carrick mold. NDD, again, Leicester, they would want around 60-65 million unless we sign a director of football or we loan Chelsea, because that's an expert negotiator. And NDD is the best ball winner in Premier League right now, hands down. If we get NDD, that would be absolutely amazing. That would be a cherry on top of the cake. But Ole is going for players that he wants to be built into that team. That doesn't come with a baggage. And these players, the Amad Diallos, the Facundo Pellistris, these are unknown quantities. They might figure, they might not figure, and it won't be difficult to move them on. If those, you never know. NDD might come into United squad and not play well, because that's a totally different system that Brendan Rodgers play, and a totally different system that is coming into. Much more expectations, much more errors that would be highlighted, that goes without saying to any United player. And suddenly, look at Fred. He was amazing when he was at Shakhtar, but it took him around 1.5 seasons to cement his place into that United midfield. It doesn't work out that much. Fred was on that NDD level, but at the same point of time, look what has happened. A lot of things like transfers. I know it sounds very easy on paper, but a lot of things happen. The tactics of the coach, the utilization of those tactics, the position that the team plays, the width that the team plays, the channels that the team plays, the triangles, the rectangles, that the parallel lines that all, it's entirely different between Leicester and United. United play much more of a high line. Maguire steps into midfield, the place where NDD offers. And suddenly, if you play NDD up top, he's alienated. Nobody thinks about that. It's very difficult. It's true, but you want a calm head at the base of midfield and ahead of the defense that comes with experience. At 24, NDD is perfect blend of ability. Definitely, NDD is my favorite ball winner if you ask me at this current crop of Premier League youngsters under 25. But this, let's add some reality to that fact. Leicester won't let him go that cheap. But this Jan Bissouma and the Caicedo guy is not. It's not that bad. He's not that bad. I've seen him play. I've seen him. I've seen a few YouTube clips and I've seen his aerial weaknesses. He has his aerial weakness, but he's deadly fast. Give this guy a chance. Let the deal formalize. Let's hope. Let's see. So, okay, moving on to the final segment, the prediction time. Do comment in your predictions. Now, based on the lineup and based on what United employ and United play, it's too much attacking. I see United, if United traditionally or the trademark slow start is there, they're going to be hammered to one or two goals in the start of the game, and they might bounce a comeback because Everton have been choking and Jordan Pickford is Jordan Pickford. He'll make mistakes. But Yerry Mina has suddenly come onto form and he's winning almost all aerial duels. Cavani would be a highlight. Like, if United get through the paces, get through that early Everton press, and manage that early part very efficiently, I see United winning 2-0 or 3-1. Very, very fluently. Because this team is too much attacking to, and Ole wants that game to be tied up early. That's why he wants to rest Bruno. That's why he told him that probably get in 45, 50 minutes under your belt, and that would be ideal. And you cannot expect them to have a Leeds-esque performance. But these are the times where other players have to show their mettle. That if you want to challenge for a place on a United squad, this is your moment. This is your spotlight. You're going against top-class players, and this is where you prove yourself. Axel Tuanzebe, if you want the defensive position, you give a solid performance at right back. You just cannot expect to be handed your spot. Even Axel Tuanzebe was full of errors in that Istanbul. He got his chance. He was excellent against the likes of Mbappe and all. But again, this entire dilemma is, I get confused at times. Okay, Everton want to United. We all want United to win, but this would be tricky. All of this depends. Like, we can go over the match board, we can go over the tactics as many times as we want, but at the same point of time, this game is won and lost on the pitch. You can Whoever thought that we would be spanking Leeds with 6 goals, tell me one guy whoever bid that we would bet his money that we would score. We were scared. The podcast we did the other day, I was scared that Leeds are going in for a hammering, that it might be a 3-1 or a 3-2 for Leeds, but they choked. And if United can onslaught their firepower at the start of the match, Everton will concede goals. They have a leaky defense, they will concede goals. Yerry Mina, like Eric Bailly, error prone. Gets on. Let's face it, that was Arsenal. And the more we talk about Arsenal, I'm more intrigued because I just love Arsenal at this point of time. There's a few Barcelona fans were there, like after Aubameyang's penalty beat us. They're like, Black Panther is alive again. Yes, Arsenal is back. And look at where Arsenal is right now. Both of them are competing for 13th and 14th spot in their respective leagues. No hate towards Barcelona, but those Barcelona fans are a real pain in the ass. And fellow sensible Barcelona fans know this as well. So it's just around 18 minutes till kickoff. I'll have a quick bathroom break and just wait for the match. I hope this would be a good contest. I don't want a snooze fest because I'm already too much tired from today's works, and I don't want to be going asleep in my chair in this winter, in this good winter time. So rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman. Yes, that guy was an inspiration. Chadwick Boseman was an inspiration to many people. Black Lives Matter campaign, Rainbow Laces campaign, we are all up for that, but just no Arsenal, everything, whatever, everything happens, don't troll Arsenal campaign, because they have their own fan TV for that. Like, I was hearing, I saw this somewhere on Twitter, like there was a petition ongoing to host Arsenal fan TV from out of Sky Sports or something like that and move it into Comedy Central. That hilarious. That hilarious. Like, rip Troops phone. And with that, I'll just conclude this session, and I hope that this had been a very tactical onslaught for you. And whoever's watching, do help me reach that 200 mark as soon as possible. And I would be indebted to you all, and that would be an amazing. Do ask your friends, do ask your family. Like, if you have two other phones, if you have other accounts, do go in from there and do leave those likes and subscribes. Would mean a lot to me if I can make 200 by 25th. So all that, this is podcast with Neil, with Jibogda and his pork and ham sandwich. Devayan and Shreyan was there. I hope, Shreyan, you got your prediction. And if anyone's new watching here, I cannot see your name because you haven't commented. I wish you good health in this pandemic, and I want to subscribe from you. All those videos, that Pati Bangla Bhasha segment will be making a comeback soon. I hope you're all waiting for that, because that had a tremendous amount of response, and love you for those. And too much of ants. Anyways, the bathroom break is calling me, nature's call is calling me, and it's too cold. And with that, I'll leave you to this session. Hopefully, it's a good match, and we'll see you soon. This Friday, I have a podcast planned with a La Liga expert. We'll be divulging into that. So do tune into that. But before that, in Thursday, let me see if I can get a video up. And with that, signing off, your boy Neil. Podcast with Neil, the MANC episode 6. Please subscribe, please like, and please share it with your friends. Bye bye for now.